On this episode of Abounding and Alive, we meet Sierra Kennedy, a young professional and marketing coach who gave up the security of a 9-to-5 to focus on the void in the self-development space in Calgary, Alberta. That's how Full Potential Club came to be. Stay tuned to learn more. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Abounding and Alive podcast. I'm your host, Becky, and I'm really excited to have a new guest this week with me. Someone local, actually, someone close to me, close to Edmonton, who's doing something very worthy in her town. So her name is Sierra. She is the founder of Full Potential Club YYC, and she's also a marketing coach. So I'm going to let her talk about all of those things and explain what it is that she does.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be
I
here.
am really excited, especially just the fact that you're from Calgary.
Yeah, I know. I'm always surprised. Oh, this is Blue. He's probably going to make an appearance often.
It's okay. I love it. The more animals, the better. I'm all about it.
I guess a little bit more about kind of like me, some background. I started Full Potential Club, which is a group for primarily women, but we've had events with men as well. And it's essentially a community for really ambitious individuals just to find some mentorship, inspiration, and kind of connect with a like-minded community. And then aside from the club, I'm also a marketing coach for small business owners.
Okay, touch on that. What is a marketing coach?
My marketing coach role, it honestly came up extremely organically. I never really set out to say, oh, I'm just going to be a coach now.
Right.
So I was actually freelancing, helping small business owners with getting their marketing work done.
Okay.
And I saw a huge gap where if you are not doing your marketing yourself, you don't exactly know what's being put out all the time about your business. And if you don't have the budget to pay someone else to do it for you, you might just be sitting there feeling a little bit lost. And so I've always been so passionate about like just chatting through business with friends. And if people want to like start something or have a startup, I love hearing about that. And so my background's in public relations. That's what I went to school for.
Perfect.
And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to like try and teach these small business owners an easier way that's more sustainable for them to actually start doing their own marketing.
So do you focus a lot on like social media marketing, things like that, or like newsletters or events or all of the above?
All of the above. I would say like marketing is obviously not one size fits all. So it really depends on the business, the industry, and also like what's attainable for that person to actually take on.
That sounds like an awesome job, actually.
Thanks. It's a lot of fun. I feel like I just get to hang out with really cool people who are starting up really cool businesses.
That is really awesome. And you get to find out like what's going on. Like I'm sure you do a lot of local Calgary as well. And I'm sure you focus on like a lot of outside of that too, but a lot of it gets to be, what's going on in Calgary.
Yeah, I really want to expand more so across Canada because a lot of my work is online. It's awesome that I get to work with anyone from anywhere because of computers these days. But I would say like most of my work is here right in Alberta. Yeah.
Okay, so then tell us about Full Potential Club, because when you first messaged, I'm like, okay, like what is this? Like I don't even really quite understand. And the more you told me about it, the more I was like pretty jazzed up about it.
Oh, thank you. I know it sounds like it's kind of hard to picture what it is when I just say the name. So I guess a bit of backstory. Do you want me to give you like?
Please, yeah. Okay. Tell us all the things.
So essentially last year, I was working with a personal trainer and I was going to therapy and doing all of these things where I was just trying to like get a little bit more out of my life. I'm in my mid-20s and I am very ambitious. I would say I have like a driven family as well. So trying to live up to that. And I just kind of remember looking around and being like, I wonder who I could talk to about having all these big dreams and goals that's not a paid professional. That's just my age, who has the same kind of drive and they want to like go for it too. And I have such amazing close friends in my life, but something was just still missing in terms of like that entrepreneurship or something there. And so I was chatting with my sister who also has a business, and I was trying to ask her like, "Hey, do you know of any spots where I can like go to events and just work through stuff or chat about these big goals and dreams that I have?"
Right.
And she was like, "No, I've actually gone looking for that and I can't find it either." So then, of course, in comes Full Potential Club. I'm like, well, I'm just going to start that. And so it started with just in-person events, and we now also do online events. And then this fall, we're launching an online collective where people can join from anywhere, and it's essentially like a monthly reset for you to tap into your goals, share what's working, share what's not, and actually like have someone to bounce those ideas off of and work through those struggles with.
So, like, talk to me more about this collective. Like, could people join for just a month at a time, or is it like an X amount of months commitment, or what?
Honestly, I'm still in the back end process of planning it all. So it's launching on September 17th to the public. But essentially, it'll be like a minimum 3-month commitment just to show up, at least be held accountable to that time frame. And then if it's not working for you, absolutely like drop off at any time. But essentially, it just gives you a space to be held accountable to actually check in with yourself and see what's working and what's not. Whether it's like a goal of I'm just saving money to buy my first home, or I'm trying to start a business and make $1 million next year.
So, will it be like, like live Q&A type sessions, forums, like a group chat? Like, what does that look like for people?
So it would be tuning in every month on the same day and time for a couple of hours. You're going to show up with your camera on, mic on, and you're actually interacting. So it's like far from just a webinar. And
Mhm.
there's going to be a learning portion where you're learning something that is personal development and self growth focused. There's also like a connection portion where you get to actually talk, because I find a lot of the in-person events that I do with the club often have a guest speaker who shares
Mhm.
so much knowledge about a certain topic, but we're almost still missing that piece of like, I got to talk about my big goals and dreams in a sense, like for every attendee that's showing up. And so I really want to include that in the online collective. Outside of that, there'll of course be a group chat for support in between the
Mm,
calls, because a month is a long time to go without
it
chatting.
is.
Yeah.
The group chat is a really nice option. Like what you were saying, like I wish I could just talk to somebody that wasn't like someone I had to pay $200 an hour to, you know? Like I want to ask you a question, but I also like, can you not just do it out of the goodness of your heart? Right?
No, and it's so hard. It's like I love, 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 love the people in my life that I have gotten support from as paid
Mhm.
professionals. I wouldn't be who I am without them
Of
if I never
course.
came across them. But like you also just need those casual people you can bounce ideas off of when you're having a really tough day or just like a low point in your afternoon or anything like that, right?
Yeah, and not to mention, like, just, surrounding yourself with like-minded people, people with goals. I mean, there's nothing like, surrounding yourself with people who have nothing going for them, right? Or, like, have no dreams, have no aspirations, get in trouble, make poor choices. Eventually, it is kind of gonna reflect on you whether or not you choose to act like that or just paints you in a bad light or whatever. So, really getting that chance to surround yourself with good I don't wanna say good quality people, but, like, people who have similar morals, similar goals is very empowering.
Yeah, 100%, and I think that's exactly what I was trying to do with Full Potential Club, and I'm realizing that the club maybe wasn't even so much for myself, but also for others,
Yeah,
because I am so lucky that I've grown up with a really strong social circle, and I can see that other people don't have that, and so
right.
utilizing that network that I've been given to help build that and see where I can make connections for other people has been so empowering too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, you really hit the nail. What is it? Hit the head on the nail on the head. That's what it is. You really hit the whatever. Because there's a lot of people out there who don't get to experience that social life, whether, it's just where they live, how they are, if they're awkward, whatever, any sort of like issues that they've got going on, it makes it hard for some people to make friends or have like a good surrounding. And so a lot of people go to the online community to find somewhere that they fit in, like let's say kids who have been bullied their whole lives. So where do I fit in? I mean, there is a place for anybody on the internet. That's
Yeah.
for sure. And so to be able to find a collective of people who, conventionally maybe you wouldn't be friends with in person. But, when you get to know each other, when you drop that stigma or the preconceived idea of what this person is like and learn about their aspirations and their goals and their drive and stuff, I think it's a really beautiful place that connects people.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I think technology brings its pros and its cons, but it really is such a beautiful thing to be discovering these people that you would have never found if you aren't
Yeah,
in the same city or have never been in a room with them physically.
exactly. Like you might have some sort of a goal and then go like, I don't know anybody who does this,
Yeah.
right? But like through the power of the internet, you can find 100 people who do this,
Yeah.
which is really great for, people who have never got to experience the fulfillment of having like a close personal circle. So then you talked about Full Potential Club and you said that you guys have speakers. Like, what does that look like?
I would say our topics have been quite broad.
Okay.
And like I said, it is primarily women. So again, when I started Full Potential Club, I wanted to also learn about money and money mindset, but
Mhm.
not be limited to that. I wanted to learn about health and well-being. So the speakers have really touched on topics that kind of cover anything about becoming your best self. So we have seen guest speakers who talk about manifesting and money mindset. We've seen guest speakers talk about gut health, especially like women's health,
Mm,
and health.
that's
We've
a big
seen
one.
yeah, absolutely. More specific goal setting workshops where you're kind of sitting down and getting into the nitty gritty of what really matters to you, healing your nervous system. Like I said, it's been kind of broad.
That's cool though, because yeah, I mean, name one girl that you know that doesn't have a gut problem. We all
That's our biggest, most popular event for sure.
I can imagine. I think a big part of the problem, especially for women, like, don't get me wrong, like I do live blood analysis, so I see a lot of men as well, and they got a lot of gut stuff going on. I think part of the issue for women is that we really hold on to everything in our guts. So,
Yeah.
like, you're nervous, you're holding it in your gut. You're angry, you're holding it in your gut. Let's say you're out and about, like we're women. It's not like we're, public pooping somewhere, like public farting somewhere, we're holding on to stuff. And it's
Yeah.
like the more that we're holding on to, whether it's physiological or emotional, we're kind of holding it in that gut zone. And so it becomes very inflamed. And then it turns into mental health issues, immune issues. You're struggling to digest. You feel bloated. You feel fat. You feel this. You feel that. And so for a lot of women, like the gut is a big bone of contention. So I think it's really cool to like have somebody to come in to talk to them about it.
Oh, 100%. And it's also insane just seeing how so much of it can also be related to your emotional health and what
Yeah.
you've been through, even if it's manifesting into the physical and you're getting physical symptoms when it comes to your gut health too, right? But you don't realize it's actually like traumas you haven't worked through.
Yes.
Insane.
I often will tell people this, like my body wanted a break. I was not giving it a break. It decided for me that it was going to have a break. And unfortunately for me, it ended up being cancer. Obviously that's not the truth for everybody else, but it's like your body is very intertwined. Like it's not just, one thing. It's not just, oh, your gut. Like it is your gut, but it's also, like I said, your immune system, your mental health, your emotions, your trauma, your diet, your exercise, your sleep. Like it's a million things. And that's why I'm so passionate about holistic healing, because it's like you have to really touch on everything to heal. And it's a lot of work, like, quite honestly, it's a lot of work to holistically heal your body because we do hold on to so much stuff. But like when you were saying that you've had like a varied group of speakers, like I think that's fantastic because healing isn't just one modality. It's not
Totally.
just one outlet and then you're done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's a big part of achieving well-being, I guess, in a well-rounded sense. And it's actually something that I've kind of like, I don't want to say struggled to define with Full Potential Club, but personally, I like to live a holistic lifestyle. And I find, I don't know if you get this too, maybe with your live blood analysis that you do, but some folks get a bit confused as they can't draw the line between maybe holistic and spiritual in a sense.
Mhm.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really cool kind of like challenge that I'm having, being able to bring in some holistic topics while
Mhm.
also kind of like staying true to why I started Full Potential Club. But I think it goes hand in hand, whether you're going to do personal development in a textbook sense, listening to all of the audiobooks and doing all of the workbooks,
Yeah.
or if you're going to be on this journey, healing your trauma, learning what you're putting in your body, what you're using every day in your home, right?
Yeah. Like, quite honestly, if you're trying to, for lack of a better term, reach your full potential,
Yeah.
like, you're not gonna do it ignoring stuff from your past. Like, I hate to say it, healing at like, to a point where you're, like, ready to change, ready to accept, ready to love again, ready to trust again. I mean, it takes a lot of deep diving into all the parts of your body. So I love that you have all different speakers. So, like, who do you have lined up, for upcoming events?
Some of them have guest speakers, others are more so activities. And I'm not sure like when this would be coming out. So I don't know if some of this would maybe already be over by that time.
Yeah, we got a couple weeks yet.
Okay. So I would say like at the end of August, on August 26th. Actually, this is kind of an interesting, goes hand in hand with today's topic. We have Judy Hughes, who's the founder of two businesses. She's joining us for an online talk and a knowledge share, actually about managing stress and being a
Oh,
very
wow.
ambitious person while still trying to find balance with your mental health and taking care of yourself.
Cool.
And then in September, we're actually pivoting and we'll be having a talk about learning about investing because that was a space where
Amazing.
I would have loved to learn more about money and I wanted to
Yes.
learn about how to invest my money and what to do with my money and long-term wealth.
Yes.
And again, like I just found such a gap. I couldn't find anything that felt
Yeah.
like it was relevant to me and my demographic.
Yeah. I mean, and you're mid-20s and you're finding a struggle with it, which tells me, like, I have teenage girls. It's like the system hasn't changed quite enough yet or evolved enough yet that we're teaching our kids about these things. I graduated 21 years ago. Like, we definitely didn't learn anything like that in school. And obviously, you graduated just 10 years ago and didn't learn anything about that in school. So, like, when my kids graduate, are they going to know about taxes, investing, saving money, like how credit works? I don't know. I don't think so. And that there is a huge space for that, or a huge empty space for
Oh,
that.
absolutely. And I would say, like, I feel, again, like I said, like extremely privileged because I have family members who are willing to help and are willing to like
Mhm.
share knowledge in that sense. But it still blows my mind that there's not a space for people to learn about even like the mindset and the values and the preconceived beliefs that they have about their money and their wealth and what's actually possible. And
Mhm.
it's like I've seen a few people here and there that are starting to really change the dynamic when it comes to money and
Right.
changing your mindset and trying to focus on some abundance too. And like if I can bring that into the club and start to empower others to learn about this stuff now while we're like, like I said, in our mid 20s. And again, the club's for anyone, any age. But I just feel like there's such a gap and opportunity here that would be life changing.
I think, like, historically, like, women your age, and again, we're going historical, not current, but, women your age would already have been moms, wives for X amount of time, homemakers, whatever, and then so, obviously, over the last few decades, that is changing to where, we don't need to do that. Maybe we don't need to have kids by the time we're 30, right? Maybe we wanna focus on a career or whatever, but I also feel like there's a bit of and maybe it was just me, although I know my friends kinda all went through this too, where there's this moment in kinda every decade where you just feel like, "What am I missing?" Like, for
Mhm.
me, it hit when I was, like, early 20s. I was like, "What am I missing?" And then I, like, instantly got married and got pregnant, like, a month later and then had babies. And then it was like, "Okay, like, all my dreams are fulfilled." Oh, the cat's back. Hi, cat. Um, I'm like, "All my dreams are fulfilled." And then, like, as that progresses, I'm like, "No, like, I'm still missing something." Like, there's, like, a space here that I don't know really how to fill at all, and, like, I didn't know anything about money. I was 22 when I got married and started having babies, like, I didn't know anything about money. I had just jacked up all my credit cards and lines of credit and had, like, just ridiculous debt by the time I was early 20s. It's like, and then I was a mom, and it's like I wasn't able to go and have a career because I was at home with the kids, and I was really missing out, I think, on a lot of that. And so, like, now that I'm a mom of teenage daughters, I'm thinking, like, how can I teach them, "Hey, when you are old enough to have this job or when you're done school or whatever, like, this is what you should be doing with your money." Like, I would have loved that investment talk. I would have loved to know what credit does if you max it out on Sephora. Like, I would have loved to have known any of this when I was 18.
Going back to what you were saying just about what is missing from my life,
Mm,
obviously, I think you're gonna grow as a person and change, and every like you said, it'll come with age, and every stage of life that you're in, you're gonna have different priorities and
mhm.
goals, and maybe right now you're not looking to learn more about money and you do wanna have your family, and that's amazing, like, you have to
Totally.
follow that, but if you are kind of sitting there thinking like, "I don't know where to start when it comes to buying a house. I don't know where to start when it comes to saving for retirement. I don't know where to start." All of that, like, yeah, I just think now is the time to at least just sit down and listen, if even if you're not gonna act on it,
Yeah,
right? Like, not
yeah.
just go listen to a paid professional. Again, you don't have to actually pay, like, as much money because 'cause you're this is a group setting, so it's a little more accessible.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, go and get, like, the knowledge at least, like, and if you don't wanna sit and be part of a community in that, go read a book, go, do some Googling, like, whatever that looks like to you in a sense of learning and finding inspiration.
Mhm. Like, I'm 38 years old, and to me, like, sitting down and hearing about how to buy a house is valuable. I've never bought a house at 38. Like I said, I was married really young, had kids really young, got divorced really young, was a single mom young, and working 2 jobs and struggling to make ends meet, and then I got remarried, and the plan was, like, put my name on my husband's mortgage even though it wouldn't be my mortgage technically, and then I got sick, and then I was like, "Well, we don't really wanna put my name on anything," and then here I am, 38 years old, and I've never owned a house, and so, there is something very empowering in, even though I am married, even though I live in a house that has a mortgage, like, there is something very empowering in going to a workshop where I get to hear and learn and think, "Oh, like, what if I did this with my money? What if I invested it in this way?" Or whatever. So, I don't even think it's just for young people, like, I think it's for
No.
women who have had all kinds of circumstances, and, I mean, obviously, everyone has a different experience in life, but, like, look at me, I'm pushing 40, and I would love to learn how to buy a house.
Yeah, and we've had women in their 60s come to these events, like,
Love that.
there's absolutely no age limit. I get a lot of the time, like, feedback where people say, like, "Oh, it looks like it's the younger crowd. Am I gonna stick out, or can I still come if I'm over the age of 50?" And the answer is, like, "Yes, please," because a lot of the feedback I get from, the younger crowd is like, "Hey, can you have some older folks who have this lived experience to come and, like,
Yeah, wisdom.
what they've learned?" Yeah.
I love that, and, like, okay, so in your group settings, you're listening to somebody speak, which is awesome and valuable, but what about, like, the time where they get to share with each other? Is that where that, collective is gonna come into place? Is, like, more of a community as opposed to, like, a seminar?
I think what stands out the most about differentiation in terms of what's Full Potential Club and what's just, yeah, like you said, like a webinar or seminar,
Mhm,
is that we always try to incorporate some sort of community building or connecting portion to the event. So,
mhm,
even for example, I think in April, we had a yoga class and it was a flow yoga, but part of the event before the class was actually using prompts that we created on a card. And it was just a goal to try and like get to know someone next to you who you have never talked to before,
mhm.
but asking them questions that are bigger than small talk. Because for me, I cannot stand small talk. I don't want to go to a networking event and talk about the weather. Please count me out. So
Yeah. I know
that
that there's been quite a few, like, women and business owners in Spruce Grove where I live, and I'm like, "Okay, like, I'm fairly new to owning a business. Like I should go, like, God, the thought of talking to these people about like, oh, what do you do? This is this. Oh, what do you do? This is this. Like it's not deep.
No.
So that's where prompts are kind of cool.
Yeah, and, like, again, I try to stray from something cheesy where it's like people are just so far out of their comfort zone, they're not finding value, but you
Mhm.
can just kind of get into that growth zone where you're asking questions that are slightly more thoughtful, like, "What are you super excited for next week?" Or, "What's something
Oh,
that you're really passionate about that you're working on right now?" And it doesn't have to be like a big building a business, it could be like, "Oh, I'm knitting a scarf, and I've never knit before, and it's so cool." You know, like, just something that you wouldn't 'cause another thing too that I find, like, across my age group is the only question we ever get asked is, "What do you do? What's
mhm.
did you go to school?" And
Right.
people who aren't really there yet, and maybe they haven't figured out what their career will look like, or they haven't actually taken action to get there yet, they don't wanna tell you that they still work in a restaurant. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but my best friend does that, and she's like, "There's more to me than what I do for a job."
Yeah,
And I want you
really.
to know
A
that.
job pays your bills, right? I mean, I had a client come in once and I said to her, "Oh, so what do you do for work?" Like just making small talk. Really, that's what it was. She's like, "I dance." And I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "I'm a stripper." And I'm like, "Perfect.
I
Okay."
love
Like there's no, she wasn't even really there wasn't a lot of like shame in it. And she had said right after, she's like, "I'm just trying to pay my bills and take care of my kids." And I
yeah,
was like,
doing that.
no shame whatsoever. You are more than what your career is. You are a human being. You're here, you're looking at your blood, you're trying to figure out like the healthiest version of yourself. So I think we're really quick to like judge somebody. And that's another cool thing about having an event like yours is that, if you found out someone was a stripper, for example, you might not rush to be their friend. I don't know. It's just the judgment that we all have as people who think we're better than everybody else.
Yeah, it's human, right? And I think a big part of it is, like, coming into these spaces with an open mind and not knowing who you
Mhm.
might be sitting next to, and you might sit down and look around and be like, "I don't relate to any of these people." And by the end of it, who knows, you might leave with a new friend that you're gonna go for brunch with after.
I am like, ugh, I don't know why, like, society makes it seem like women all hate each other, but, like, all of my most meaningful relationships in life have been with women who I consider sisters now. Like I like working in like let's say an office space where there's a bunch of women and normally they're like, "Oh, it's going to be catty, cat fight." Meh, 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 meh." But it's
Yeah,
not. It's like if you can work somewhere with like a group of women who support each other and you can talk to, I love that. I think it's fantastic. So to like join a women's group, like I'm part of a women's charity group, charity, I guess you could call it, in Spruce Grove, Stony Plain, Parkland County, where I am. And it's all women. And I love being able to connect with them. Like, I think it's fantastic to have women that, again, you would normally never talk to. You don't
yeah,
know them. You don't know their story, different age, different preference. Like, everything is so different. But it's like you get to connect with them over this shared goal. And in our case, it's like giving money to local charities. In your case, it's like self development.
yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. I mean, personally, I did grow up primarily surrounded by women. I,
Mhm.
from a young age, went to an all-girls school. I
Mhm.
was a competitive dancer growing up. So I was in spaces with other women all the time and young girls when I was a young girl. And yeah, I feel like I saw both the beauty and also maybe the opposite in
Yes,
terms of
of course.
how women can be, but when you find people who are willing to support you, and I think you'd be surprised how many women wanna actually cheer you on, and like you said, like, society is taught to compare and compete with other women, but it's actually quite the opposite, and I love that about humans, like, we're actually I don't know, I just think we're kinda badass in the sense that we're not following what we've been taught anymore about
Yeah.
all of that and beauty standards and the media, like, I think we've really proven ourselves to be more than that.
For sure. I mean, social media is like so good in some senses and so bad in some other. I mean, it's very easy to compare yourself to people on social media and not realize that it's like photoshopped and filtered and everything else and paid and not real and scripted. But it's also a place where you get to like learn a lot of stuff and connect with a lot of random people. I just recently, like within the last month, commented on a post in my town's mom's chat,
Oh
which
yeah.
is it can be a real nasty place in the mom's chat, okay? Like, some people are very supportive, but some people are real nasty.
Yeah.
And she had just said something like, "Hey, this product really worked for me, blah, blah, blah." People were, like, so mean to her. So,
Mm.
so mean, and I thought, "This is so rude." She had turned off the comments, so I couldn't comment, but I messaged her directly. I'm like, "Hey, I don't know you, but, like, I think it was horrible, like, how people treated you or whatever." I ended up going over to her house, and we had coffee, and she's lovely, and her and I are, like, identical people, and, like, it was just it was so nice to be able to, like, meet somebody through the most random situation. And to me, it's like, I hear people say like, "Oh, I have enough friends. I don't need to make more friends." But like, no, like I want a huge circle of people that I can turn to, like whether that be for advice, whether that be for business or whatever. Like I want to have resources to turn to.
Totally. And the people that you're going to are going to be for different things in different parts of your life. And the
Yeah.
people that you call when you're feeling shame are going to be different than the people that you call when you want to celebrate, or the people that you call when you need someone to just be like so honest with you and say, "Hey, I know you're not going to sugarcoat this with me. Like be straight
Yeah.
up, give me feedback."
I have friends like that. I always used to say when I was younger, like, if I want the fairy tale version, like, "Oh, he's probably just his phone's dead. He likes you." Like, I'll call one friend. If I want a girl that's like, "No, he doesn't like you." Like,
Another
obviously he's not into you, move on, you're being dumb. Like, I'll call another friend. And like, I was blessed to have a group like this and then everything kind of in the middle. So like, and even still now at almost 40, like I'm still friends with these girls and like I still decide who I want to go to
yeah.
for particular help. But I mean, yeah, if I've got questions, I'm very blessed to have resources to do that. But again, like we were saying, not everyone is blessed with that.
No.
So it's really awesome to have a space like this. Cause I actually think again, like you're in a different generation than I, right? Your generation is all about this work smarter, not harder kind of thing, which is cool, which is great. You don't have to break your back for minimum wage, right?
Yeah.
And so to meet a lot of other young people who are also driven that don't just want to be social media stars. I mean, like there's actually women in this group who want to be business owners and
Mhm.
whatever else. I think that's really cool. It's a really important space for them to have.
Thank you. Yeah, it's actually funny, like, at first I thought, "Do I make this for just business owners and entrepreneurs?" And then I thought,
Mhm.
"Well, no, because a lot of this is also about health and well-being in different
Yeah,
ways." But it's actually cool to see, like, we have naturally attracted some small business owners, and
mhm,
I don't even know that until I'm kind of, like, in the room chatting with people, and they're
yeah,
like, "Yeah, I do this, I do that." But it is yeah, it's so cool, I think, too, because you get those people who show up and they've never even thought about owning a business. And then you got people who have been running a business for 7 years and kind of everyone in between. And so it's
mhm.
really nice to not have put any hard limitations or, qualifications that you have to show up.
I love it. So how can people become a member? And you said it's not just for women, right? Like you have a lot of women, but there are men also?
Yeah, I would say, like, for the most part, it is all women. However, the events that I've done where it is, like, co-ed, we do promote it as, like, anyone is welcome. So it really just honestly depends. Like, obviously, if it's for women's gut health, not a lot of men are going to register for that event.
Right. Of course.
So if someone wanted to join, we put everything on Instagram and also on Eventbrite. So our Instagram is Full Potential Club YYC. And then our online collective will be a online registration, which will also be through our Instagram as well. And yeah, honestly, once you RSVP for an event, you are part of the club. You're good. You're a member.
That's awesome. And so you were saying you do live events like in person, but also online. So for the online events, like could someone not native to Calgary come to that?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had people from BC, Ontario. We even have had someone tune in
Well,
from Tofino, which is like the smallest little town on the coast
yes.
of BC. So yeah, anyone's welcome.
Well, like I said, I wanna come. Even driving to Calgary is no big deal for me. I like it. I like these sort of events. Anytime that I can, like, mingle, meet new people, be motivated, that's a big thing. Like, I go into a group of driven people who I don't wanna call them boss babes, but you know what I'm saying? Like, girls who have ambition. I feel super motivated.
For sure. Oh, 100%. And like they do say it's like you are a representation of your 5 closest friends or the 5
Mhm.
people that you're
Mhm.
around most in your life. And so you get to choose wisely. And sometimes that's like almost a harder pill to swallow because you might have people in your life who you adore, but they're not maybe exactly who you want to
Well, if
be.
if they're not lifting you, then they're pulling you down, quite
Yep,
honestly. Like, those solid, good supports in your life will raise you up. And if
100%.
they're not raising you up, you have to look at what the alternative is, and that's that they're dragging you down. So
Yeah.
very cool. Well, thank you so much for being here. This was awesome. I can't wait to learn more about Full Potential Club. Again, it's Full Potential Club YYC on Instagram. Also, Sierra Kennedy content on Instagram. All one word, I take it for both of them.
Yes.
No periods or underscores or anything. So
No.
make sure you give her a follow. And if this strikes your interest, especially if you're in that Calgary area, make sure you join this awesome group.
Thank you. And yes, please come to an event anytime, whether you're tuning in online or making the drive down to Calgary, because I also really want to meet you in person. This was awesome.
Yeah, this was so fun. Thanks for being here.
Okay, thank you.
Once again, Sierra Kennedy content on Instagram or Full Potential Club YYC on Instagram. Make sure you give them a like and a follow. Thank you again to Sierra for being here. I'm honestly going to join. Like, I think this is so cool to have an organization of like-minded women. So be with us next week as we talk to a cancer survivor. We've also got someone who's really into fermentation. I cannot wait to learn about this. I am like self-proclaimed crunchy, and yet I don't really know how to follow through on any of that. So I am so excited to learn about fermenting items. So stay tuned every Tuesday morning, 9 a.m., starting very, very soon. By the time you watch this episode, we'll already have been out for a few episodes. So thanks, everybody.